Hi, I'm Ayushi, a global brand marketer and a content creator. Welcome to the Note to Self podcast. This podcast is all about helping you find and love your true self in order to grow to your fullest potential unapologetically. Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to the episode 3 of Note to Self. I'm your host Ayushi, and honestly, I couldn't be happier right now because we are already on episode 3. I'm extremely thankful for you guys to be taking this journey with me towards self love and becoming confident, fierce rays of sunshine that we are meant to be. Today, we're talking about how it is okay to not be okay. Well, thanks to the Netflix original, this phrase has really stuck around in my head lately. The name of this podcast is Note to Self, and the best reminder we can give ourselves is that it is okay to not be okay. We all have our own set of struggles. For some, it's their job. For others, it's their personal lives. But one thing I know is that all of us work hard. We all go through problems we have to deal with. Everyone has their own issues to work through, and sometimes things don't turn out the way we want them to. And that can be a huge stressor. It may even make us anxious or doubt ourselves. But you know what? We live in a world where we are expected to hold our heads up high all the time, be independent, and not ask for help. Terrified of people disapproving of who we are, terrified of what people would think, we end up pushing away our own emotions. And why? Because expressing our emotions and vulnerabilities is considered a sign of weakness. But that couldn't be further away from the truth. Because, first of all, expressing our emotions makes them valid. And until and unless we accept the way we are feeling about a situation, we cannot learn the right way to process it, to overcome it, and to come up with a solution that makes sense. Another behavior that I've noticed among the young adults and people my age, the people in their 20s or their 30s, is that we try to dismiss and bury our negative emotions because of this notion that our problems are not important or big enough to be valid. Again, let me emphasize on the fact that everyone has their own set of struggles. How large or tiny the problems you're facing might be, that has nothing to do with what someone else may be going through. Whenever we are around someone who is going through something, we try to take a deep dive and help them instead of validating what we are feeling in that situation as well. While all this time burying our own emotions and making them seem invalid to ourselves. I have gone through such situations in succession, one after the other, back when I was in my final year of college. But before I share that, let's talk about what dismissing and invalidating our own emotions does to us. Get a grip. Suck it up. Don't be a loser. How many times have we heard ourselves saying these words of dismissal to ourselves or someone else? Thwarting emotions is not good for emotional as well as physical health. It is similar to pressing the gas and the brakes on your car at the same time, creating an internal pressure cooker. Emotions have energy that pushes up for expression, and to tamp them down, our mind uses creative tactics, including muscle constriction and holding our breath. Ever felt your throat tightening or your shoulders aching even after you've suppressed that negative emotion? When we push away our emotions that we are hardwired to feel, our mind puts pressure and stress on the body. The long-term effects of this are both physiological and psychological, leading to anxiety, depression, heart diseases, headaches, insomnia, and even autoimmune disorders. Once we realize the power of emotions, simply acknowledging our emotions can help greatly. I've experienced what suppressed emotions can do and what trouble they can cause early in my life. So, I have always been this person who loves exams, loves studying and making notes to do well in exams. But during my final semester in college, specifically a few weeks before the final exams, a series of unfortunate events happened that built up to not only a massive breakdown, but physiological symptoms that I had never felt before. 20 days before my exams began, I lost someone very close to me and my family. 10 days after that, my then best friend fell horribly sick and got hospitalized. During both the situations, I maintained a strong front, helping everyone else who needed my help at the time. But at the same time, I kept dismissing how I felt entirely, invalidating my emotions by saying that the others around me needed it more, needed my strength more, and they had bigger problems. While that was true, my emotions were equally valid too. 3 days before my semester exams, I started experiencing palpitations, shortness of breath, unprecedented fears, so much so that it built up to a full blown panic attack. That moment changed my life. If one thing I thank myself for every now and then is the acknowledgement I gave to my own emotions in that minute. I quickly called my friend over, I unloaded everything I was feeling, and we booked a doctor's appointment for the very next day. This entire thing that I did at this moment when I felt that I was panicking, this not only helped me validate my emotions, but also taught me how to process stressful situations in the right way in the future. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that there is no need to hide behind a strong front when you're not feeling that way on the inside. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to express negative emotions. It is okay to not be okay. It does not make us any weaker. It does not make us a weaker person. It actually makes us stronger and more prepared for the future negative situations that may happen. From my experiences, what I've learned and how things have changed in my life, I have tried to list all of it down in this podcast for this next segment so that it helps you take away the points that I have learned from my experience and apply them in your lives too. So, to treat our own emotions the right way, we need to first accept our feelings without judgment. Sit with your own emotions without reacting to them. Don't tell yourself how you should feel. Accept how you actually feel instead. Comfort yourself the way a concerned and compassionate parent would. So that's pretty much all I had to share about this topic today, but I would love to discuss more with you. And anytime you want to talk to me about any of these things, you can reach out to me on my Instagram, which is the Ayushi Mathur. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. That turned out to be a much more serious episode than I intended it to be, but I really, really hope that everything I said today stirs up a conversation in your mind. I hope this helps you not only feel better, but also understand that it is okay to not be okay. Your emotions are valid. Thank you so much for tuning in today into the third episode of Note to Self. I'm your host, Ayushi, and I will talk to you next weekend.